All right, guys, the watch list for Monday, July 18th. Always start out glancing at the SPY here, a little gap up on Friday, and sort of a bearish engulfing candle. It's summer. I don't expect really any big moves, and, basically still sitting up at all-time highs. There's been no traumatic events affecting the market. So for me, it's just business as usual. Go through my daily routine and look for the stocks that are in play every day. So here's there's the starting watch list for Monday. VUZI had a pop back here to 856, lower high right here 824, and then it kind of shot up to 820 here. Looked like sellers were coming in and then right back up again. A high on Friday of 816. Suppose I can draw a line here. This is it's kind of extended in the short term. What am I looking for? Segment. Let's try that. But it's still worth watching there. If it can break out above last week's high, then the week before that you had a high. You have what we call stacked catalysts. I generally don't like to get long something after it's had a sizable candle like this. So this goes on watch all week. I didn't do the research. Somehow this is tied in with the Pokemon craze. So don't really know how it's tied in, but we'll see. If things seem to pan out and look like that's the case, this one might catch fire. Very nice volume, relatively speaking, for this stock on Friday. So definitely keep this on your radar all week. ZAGG is just holding up so well. I'm going to throw it back on long watch. Again, I don't have any kind of trigger price based on this, but I do like the fact that buyers are stepping in down here below 6, and it's holding up pretty well after that volume started 3 sessions ago. So that for a potential long. Remember, I'm a day trader, guys, so I'm looking for stocks that can make me some money on Monday, right? And I'll be back to cash for the close. So that's what, keep that in mind when I'm looking at these charts, all right? STXS, one thing I look for in stocks is have they made big moves in the past? And I want to say, when I say the past, I really mean the relatively recent past, but I'll even go back, 9 months up to even a year just to see if we had anything like this. This is very interesting that STXS went from 74 cents to 253 in like a session and a half. And you also had a big spike back here, 115 to 190. And not much action. See the volume there, and then not much action ever since. You're starting to get a little volume coming back in and a little flag right here. So I do like this long over 142. So I'm going to put in my notes 143, which was 142 was Friday's high. If it takes that out, it should spike through this 145, and then, anything's possible. So keep your eyes on STXS, TWER. This one is pretty obscure. I'm partially embarrassed that I have it on watch. But, you had this, there's another one. If I hover over this candle, 281 to 640 in one day, right? And this one looks like a little candle, but had nice volume, went 294, almost $1, right, in this day. And that's a lot for a stock that was around $3, okay? And then about 4 sessions ago, 217 to 313, almost a 50% move. So while this isn't a very big candle, it doesn't look like it. That's almost a 50% move. Now you're down a few days. Let's look at it on 15s. It didn't close very strong, but anything. It could have just been sellers on Friday afternoon. If this can hold support here, this one might be up from here. So I'm not in love with it, but I want to keep it on watch because of those recent moves. That's TWER, MRNS. This one tried to break up into the gap on Friday, and it went up to 223. And if you look at it on a 5-minute basis, this is a pretty nice run from $1.85 up over 220 in about 15 minutes, and it tailed back down for the rest of the day. But again, it could have been, weekend coming up jitters and people just, happy with this pop or whatever. So I want to watch that for another possible move, even though some people would say, well, now it's got a topping tail. Anything can happen. So I want to watch that for a possible move on Monday. Let's see, where am I? ZAIS. Really nice move. Got an afternoon trade in this one on Friday. You had this big spike here, pullback, secondary spike here, really nice volume, and closing slightly below 4. This one could be like a red to green tomorrow. Again, it's another one of those that's sort of extended in the short term, but it can move really nicely, right? If you look at the range on Friday, 252 to almost 5. So that, almost double on an intraday basis. That's one we want to keep on watch all week. We might get a really nice trade. I don't know if it's going to be Monday. I'd like to see it, pull back or flag for a couple days, but keep it on watch. RGSE, Now, this looks like a really big spike in volume, and it's only 140,000 shares, but this thing moved from 356 to 540. That's a huge move percentage-wise. So again, maybe a red to green there, something like that. CREE. You had the gap up on Thursday, and then kind of a quiet inside day on Friday. Sometimes you can get a third day play, so we'll keep our eyes on that one. CNR. This one had this, again, you notice the theme here, $1.02 to 331. Now you're a couple days lower. This could give a nice percentage move in a very short period of time. So that goes on watch. And then lastly, BLFS gapped up, about 5 sessions ago on good news, and then popped and then reversed and then has not broken. There was the high of the gap up day. Next day's high, next day's high, next day's high, next day's high. So you've got all lower highs on the daily. It came down and touched the 200-day from above on Friday, and this one, it's finally coming down into where we call it like kind of the buy zone around the 8-period moving average. Here's the 20. So anywhere in here, it could give a nice little intraday pop for a reversal back up. Again, they did have good news on this day, so the selling might be done and the tides might turn on this one pretty soon. That's my list going into Monday. As always, we'll work together as a team to build a gap play list, and we know how to trade those in chat too. If they give us the right setup after the open, we can get some really nice trades in those too. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll talk to you on Monday.